Good evening, this is Stormcastle, and today we're going to do another one of those. This is one of those walking down the memories of my collecting past, my early days. So this book here is Avengers number 236. It's from October 1st, 1983. Spider-Man and Avenger. Now, let me take you back to 1983. September 13th is when Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man number 85, went on the newsstand. And I went to this little convenience store called Dairy Mart. And I had rode my bike up there. And I had a few dollars. And I bought myself a blue raspberry icy. Because I loved blue raspberry ices from Dairy Mart. Some type of candy or snack, something else. And I picked up a couple comics because I wanted to get a couple comic books. I had read comics before, and I had enjoyed comics before. And I looked over and I saw Peter Parker number 85, and I was like, oh my God, what is this? And I grabbed that book. And I grabbed that. I grabbed an issue Marvel Tales, which I think is the Sandman issue. And maybe even Amazing Spider-Man. But I remember about those two Spider-Man books. And I bought something else. And, you know, the Peter Parker got me into collecting, which is a big thing. And I was like, you know, I really like Spider-Man. There was a Amazing Spider-Man cartoon, which I enjoyed. And, back in this is 83. And a few weeks later, maybe a little less than a month, maybe a month of time. So I went to stay in a friend's house up in Massachusetts. I used to live in Rhode Island long decades ago. And we went out to, could have been Cumberland Farms, could have been Dairy Mart. I don't even remember what to get. I remember it was, we went out with his older brother. And we ended up at a we went to a convenience store, and I, again, had a couple bucks. And I saw this, and I'm like, Spider-Man and an Avenger. I'm like, well, I like Spider-Man. So I picked up this book. Not this exact issue. I no longer have that original copy. Over the years, my collection has... but I picked this up, and I picked up, I believe, Uncanny X-Men number 174, the first part of where Scott marries Madeline Pryor. But that is a completely different video. But I saw this, and I was like, oh my God. And this would be the first Avengers book that I actually had bought. And I look at this. I didn't know who any of these characters were. I knew nothing. And so I picked it up, and I got excited. I liked the, Spider-Man. I loved the Hobgoblin, who I just saw, and Peter Parker a few weeks earlier. So I was very excited, and I picked up other books. So I picked that up, and then I got this, and I got into this story, and I'm like, oh, I like Spider-Man. And we got all this great bit of art going on. And then Roger Stern, with Al Milgrom doing breakdowns, Joe Sinnott doing his finisher, Janice Chiang was letterer, Mark Gruenwald is the editor, Carl Gafford is the colorist, and Jim Shooter, editor-in-chief, presented this story. I want to be an Avenger. Take me, I'm yours. Where Spider-Man shows up with the Avengers. I'd never heard the Avengers, and I was like, oh my God, this is, a Spider-Man book, and I really enjoyed it, of course. That amazing old Star Frontiers back in the day. And then, of course, She-Hulk grabs him. There was an Incredible Hulk cartoon at the time. Honestly, I think she appeared in it. But, I didn't know who any of these people were, or any of the other characters. I mean, Captain America. When Captain America throws as many shit, I saw those cartoons. And this was where I got in, and I started reading these books, and I got excited about the Avengers team. He says, here goes, it says, I've already quit grad school. It's the Amazing Spider-Man number 243, so I have more time to earn a living as Peter Parker, but the money Pete can earn is chicken feed compared to an Avenger salary. What's this? And he jumps up, and we see this, and they show up at this place, and we find about, here's why I hear about Project Pegasus. I didn't know anything about this. Is all brand new to me. And they open up, they're like, there's a foreign object underneath your ship, right here. And out comes Spider-Man, and it was a great, this was the book which is the first I had ever read of the Avengers. And I had enjoyed the Avengers. And this is what got me into it, right there. And there's the guardsmen and lava, and it was seeing more of the Marvel Universe. And I was brand new to collecting. I had went to my friend's house, and I had read Sergeant Rock and a bunch of the horror books, all the ghost books, which I do videos now, Unknown Soldier, and the Losers, and the Haunted Tank, and those are the things I read there. But I was getting the superhero universe, and it got more and more into these kind of, look, G.I. Joe video game. Parker Brothers. You should pick this up. I hear this is going to be an amazing game. This G.I. Joe stuff. I get a feeling that one day this is going to be like really popular with the kids. Sorry. But, this is where I got into reading more about the Avengers and enjoying this stuff. And I learned, and this guy comes out of this device, and I'm like, what is this? I had no idea. Ooh, look, good luck with your friends. You can get a subscription. I didn't do that. At the time, I used to go to the Dairy Mart, which no longer exists anymore. They became DB Mart, and I don't even know if that chain's around either. But there's more of the Avengers, and this was so amazing. And there was Blackout, and I was like, oh my god, this is awesome. And then I got to meet Moonstone, who I'd never heard of before, and who, she's here after the most recent trial of Hank Pym stuff, and all this. And this is my first introduction of, really to Captain Marvel. I mean, I was aware there was another Captain Marvel, but this is the first time. And honestly, this is probably why Monica will always be my Captain Marvel. Well, one of my favorite Captain Marvels. Kool-Aid Man. Wow, they're going to do a game for Kool-Aid Man? That's so rad. What's it? Intellivision? Man, I got to get one of those, because one day those Intellivisions, they're going to be everywhere. Everybody's going to have tons of Intellivisions. And then, of course, get back to here at the end of it. I knew who Electro was because I saw him in the cartoons, and Rhino, Meltdowns and Mayhem. And I picked this up, and I was like, Dungeons & Dragons on Intellivision. See, I knew all about Dungeons & Dragons. My older brother got into Dungeons & Dragons in the 70s. But in television, I bet you that's like in everybody's house now. Sorry. Keep digressing. But this was the first book I had read, for Avengers. And I mean, this is what there, and then my eventually my stepsister's boyfriend had given me a bag of comics. There are more Avengers in it, and I right back in, and I found out more about Captain America and Scarlet Witch and Wasp. And, well, actually, Wasp wasn't in most of those Avengers at the time. It was Scarlet Witch and you know, and then this guy here, whoever he is, you know, Vision. I mean, this is how I was first introduced to Vision. He's sleeping in a... But this is... And then I got the bag of comics, and it honestly took me a couple years later to finally get number 237, so I watched the end. So I got to look at the end of the story, and I'd forgotten this, and I'd forgotten the X-Men at my friend's house, and went back months later, and you know, the way that he and his brothers, they were the condition that you've seen a bunch of those horror books all beaten up kind of stuff. That's kind of how, you know, they would like roll them up and everything, and so they were pretty fairly beaten on books. So I actually had to buy a better copy. I mean, honestly, I actually bought a much better copy of this. But mostly I like that shiny kind of green effect on Captain Marvel there. But yeah, this is not the best copy in the world. I don't know if you can really see, but I like it's got some real solid shine with the way everything kind of, I don't know if you can see it. The light's making it, but it really pops up off the colors really pop off the white. So very nice. Let's see if I can. Yeah, they look really shiny, almost like a 3D layering effect. Not 3D, but you know, sorry. I haven't really looked. I've read this book. I've had a couple copies. I've had copies over the years. I have a new copy now. This copy now. And I think back a bit, but I never actually, like, really. That's a ding up there. I need to get a better copy. But this was the book that I really. Al Milgrom and Joe Sinnott are the artists of the cover. You can see that right over here. But this is where I first experienced the Avengers. And I wanted to know more. So I was going to buy monthly, but then I got that pack of comics. And I opened up that Avengers, and I looked through them, and I found Avengers 98, and I have that story on there. Why they're important to me. And I always have this fond memory of Spider-Man and Avenger, and I ended up picking up issues later on, like the Assistant Editor of the Month. I remember I got a copy of that. That's where I started buying regularly. And then 241, 239, I missed like 240. 241 is where they fight against Morgan Le Fay and Jessica Drew loses her powers, and I knew who Spider-Woman was because, again, cartoons. Then of course Secret Wars came out and everything went on there, and I had started collecting the Avengers. Became one of my monthly books that I picked up every month with Amazing, Peter Parker, X-Men. But this here would be where I started my love for Avengers, and then that bag of old comics with those old Avengers in it really kind of. But anyways, I just wanted to tell the story. It's nice. I mean, it is good art. It's very wordy though, and honestly, if you were like new into something, this is probably not the place to start. You know, this would be this is not where I recommend a jumping in point. But I have that fond memory. I mean, for me, it was a great jumping in point. Anyways, I'm sorry I've rambled on for a while. I just want to talk about my memories of where this book came from in my mind, and I enjoyed it. And I love talking about Avengers and Triumph Avengers books. And I'll show off that X-Men 174 one day. Anyways, this is Stormcastle. Thank you for listening to me ramble. If you like this, if you like my videos, I appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up. Comment if you remember picking up this book, if you remember it on the newsstand, if you picked up on the newsstand, if you have good memories of it. Spider-Man tried to join the Avengers. And subscribe if you haven't. And honestly, if you have a Spider-Man friend or an Avengers friend or whatever, share videos. I like that also. Anyways, the Stormcastle saying, have a good one.